So this right here is my 1987 John Deere 855. As many of you probably know, it didn't always look like this. When I purchased this tractor, everything around the engine was already taken apart by the dealer. Since the engine was completely in bits and pieces, they stored everything in this crate right under me. Once I had all the parts inside of the shop, I took a couple of hours and cleaned everything up, especially inside of the tractor as well. It was super dirty. Once everything was cleaned up, I had a good overview on all the parts, and I was able to determine that I need a rebuild kit for this engine. Once I received the rebuild kit, I sent everything off to the machine shop. The machine shop did their magic on the cylinder head and the engine block. I received all the parts back, and I shared with you guys an engine rebuild video. That Yanmar diesel engine rebuild video took me a bunch of hours to film, but also it took me a bunch of hours to edit. So I hope I gave you guys enough information within that video. And if you guys enjoyed any video within this series of the John Deere 55, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button down below and drop a comment as well. It really helps me understand if you guys are enjoying my content. So for the next step, I'm going to start this John Deere up. I'm going to bring it outside and I'm going to hook it up to the front end loader. Once it's hooked up to the front end loader, I want to see if these hydraulics even work. I haven't tested that yet, so I will see if the loader arms lift and lower, but I'll also see if the bucket can tilt. What that means is if the bucket can actually dump something or pick something up, and that's what I'm going to do outside. Okay, wait, just one more second. Before I head outside, I'm going to share with you guys my two-stage front mount snowblower, which will hook up to the John Deere 55 and all the mounting hardware. If you guys want to see this as an upcoming project, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Okay, now we can go outside. So the John Deere 855 is right in front of the John Deere 52 loader. The hydraulic hoses are off to the side, so that won't come in the way as I drive in. And the 52 loader is up and off the ground just enough so I can bring in the front tires underneath these two loader points. Now it's really important that those are higher than the tires or else you will not be able to drive in. So what that allows me to do is drive underneath the loader, and once I'm underneath of it, I can actually rest it down onto the John Deere 855 hookup points right there. There are two more hookup points towards the front, and that is right here on the John Deere tractor. So we have these two little claws on either side of the tractor, which will then hook up to these two pins right here. There's one off to the left and one off to the right. The John Deere 855 can now go underneath of the John Deere 52 loader. Once it's underneath the loader, I will have to make sure it goes into both claws on the front. Once it's hooked up there, I will shut the tractor off, and then I can lower down the loader onto the mounting points, which are in the middle of the John Deere 855. Then I can add two special bolts, which are just going to be hand tightened onto the loader, and the loader is then secure. Once the loader is secure, I will hook up 4 hydraulic hoses, but before I hook them up, I will share with you guys what I do before I connect them. So I'll bring you guys to the front of the tractor and share with you guys what I just did. On the front of the John Deere 855, you will notice I hooked up the claw to the loader perfectly. I also made sure that there's a little bit of gap on this side because I can still push it off to the other side. Right here, I'm flush, and over here, there's still a little gap, which is about around 3/8 of an inch. Another thing I did just for safety reasons, I came over here and applied both foot brakes, which is the right pedal over there, and then I pulled the park brake, which is this right here. Right now it's in the park brake, so I have a little bit of safety. The tractor won't roll backwards on me, and it will always stay inside of the claws on the front. Now I can focus on these two pieces of 2x4 on the left side and on the right side. I'm going to remove them because I want to drop this down onto these mounting points right here. So the John Deere 52 loader is now sitting on the square tubing of the John Deere 55. Right here I have a nail as a safety pin that will just pop out, and this little pivoting bracket will go all the way down. Now underneath you will see these two brackets come together, and right now I can thread in this special bolt. It's just a little quick attach which has a handle on it, and I also added a little bit of copper coat on the thread, so it'll make it much easier to thread right in there. Now the John Deere 52 loader is merged with the John Deere 855 tractor. All bolts are tight, and I can go ahead and connect the hydraulic connectors. So when I take the hydraulic hoses, you will notice there are exactly 4 hoses. These hoses still have numbers on them, so you'll notice 1, 2, and this one is 4, so this last one has to be 3. But before I just put the male connectors into the female connectors down below, I really want to make sure everything is clean. So what you can do is you can grab a rag or even some Scotch-Brite and tidy up the front of the hydraulic connectors, and you really want to make sure that there's no dirt on them because that will go into your hydraulic system. So just like right here, there's a little speck of dirt from the grass. You want to make sure that's gone and everything else is clean. Once everything is clean, then you can merge the male with the female connectors. Okay, as you guys just saw, the John Deere 855 lifts and lowers the loader, but it does not tilt the bucket up or down in any way. I'm not sure if it's airlocked. That is a very good possibility, but I will have to bring this into the shop and check that out. So I just made it back into the shop, and I noticed something on the John Deere 855 loader as I was driving this tractor. The front end loader has a hydraulic leak, which is coming from a damaged hose. I hope you guys can see this because the shop door is open right now, and over here on the front tire I have a whole bunch of hydraulic oil, and it's coming from a hydraulic hose. You will notice it's dripping right off this corner from the cylinder, but it's not coming from the connector itself, it's coming from the hose. So I have a damaged hose, and that's exactly why the previous owner or somebody did a temporary fix. They put a hose clamp on the damaged spot of the hydraulic hose. As you'll notice right here, it's still dusty and very dry, but right here, it's very oily. I hope you guys can see that. Right there, we have a damaged hose. So this hose right here, it's actually not a short hose. It goes all the way from right here down and out the front to this connector right here. So that's probably, I don't know, 1 meter, maybe 5.5 feet long. I will have to replace that hose because I do not want to lose that much hydraulic oil. That hydraulic hose on the front end loader is damaged. I will have to get a new one. I will remove it, bring it to town. They will cut it to a certain length and they will crimp on brand new fittings for me. Then that hydraulic hose will not leak anymore. It is cheaper than always filling up new hydraulic oil in the rear end, especially since the tire is now covered in hydraulic oil, which is not cheap at the moment. I mentioned before that the bucket was not tilting up or down. What I had to do is actually open up both of those fittings, and I had to let a little bit of air out of the hydraulic hoses. What that means is I opened them up, I activated the valve in the back, a little bit of air came out, but right after that hydraulic fluid came out. Once I saw the hydraulic fluid, I closed everything off and the bucket was able to tilt up and down. Now I have the tractor inside of the shop, but I still have to fix that one hose which is very leaky. Once I have that fixed, I think the John Deere 855 and the loader are ready for some serious work. If I have any issues in the near future on the John Deere 855, I will post them on this channel because There might just be something on the rear end of this tractor which I do not know of yet. If you guys are interested in the upcoming snowblower video, I will be taking it apart and I will be reassembling it. So what that means is I will be removing all the parts in one video. Once I have everything laid out and I go through everything, I will be able to purchase parts and bring you guys back for an upcoming assembly video. If you guys are interested in that, don't forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already.